Hey, everybody. It's Lauren here, the Gratitude Addict. Welcome to Gratefully Living the Chronic Life. I come to you each week on Thursdays at this time to bring you expert guests and people who I find inspiring, motivating, and who I have a lot to learn from to help us to find joy and purpose in our lives despite our struggles. I believe in the power of gratitude. I live with chronic pain and illness, and I run an amazing community on Facebook called Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. If you're not a member, please join us. We would love to have you. But our primary purpose is to focus on what doesn't hurt and focus on the joy and meaning in our lives, because our lives could really end today. And while we've been dealt a really difficult hand of cards, we can make the most out of the time we have left. And it's not easy. It requires a regular gratitude practice. So gratitude paired with connection is what I believe to be the secret sauce for a life of joy and hope, with all of our struggles, such as chronic pain and illness, but really all of our struggles, trauma, depression, anxiety, which is our topic for tonight. And I have a fantastic guest who I know you guys are going to love. Her name's Goranka Vucenovic. She has an awesome company called Let's Soul. She makes these fantastic gratitude t-shirts, and I will tell you when she comes on how I met her, how I stalked her, which is my big joke. If you're new to the broadcast, welcome. We are interactive. I come to you live for a very intentional purpose. I don't want to just talk to you. My guests don't want to just talk to you. We want to talk with you. So we welcome comments, and I try to get as many on the screen as possible. Just like this. Hey, Courtney says, I tend to, I'll read this when Goranka comes on, Courtney, but thank you all for being here. Hello, Sandy. I really like this to be like a town hall type atmosphere. So please feel free to weigh in with your questions, concerns, or, the topic of anxiety. When I announced this was going to be the topic tonight, definitely had a lot of buzz. I know a lot of us are really affected by that. And Goranka has, not only is her company amazing, but she's got a powerful, personal story and message to share with us. So just a couple things before I bring her on. I will not be here next week. Actually, I'm not going to be here for the rest of February. Going to be away, taking a little time off to refuel my tank, which I need. I'm starting to run on an empty, gang, to be honest with you. So I will be leaving with my husband next week to visit my parents in Florida. My son's going to hold down the fort here. But I need this, self-care. I need to practice what I preach. And I've been running the group and this broadcast for a very long time. And I need to refill my tank and practice self-care because I'm starting to feel it. So I will be back. Have a great guest lined up for March who I'll share. But so you don't. Maybe I'll play some best of episodes, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I can do that. This is episode 104, I believe. So I've got a lot of best of episodes. So I will try to do that while I'm away so you guys can reap the benefits of some of the amazing guests I've had. What else? There will be no gratitude circle for those of you in Attitude of Gratitude with chronic pain. There will be no gratitude circle tomorrow because I'm visiting Linda Edwards. We're going to have lunch together. So again, self-care. Lauren needs some self-care and we all need some self-care. So without further ado, let me bring on my amazing guest, Goranka Vucenovic from letssoul.com. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Lauren. It's truly an honor.
Well, let me tell everybody how we met. So anybody that's watched the show knows that I find a guest, somebody that has something to do with gratitude usually, and I get like obsessed with them and I stalk them, which is what I did with you. I found your company, your clothing line. It's also no secret to those that watch the broadcast. I wear a gratitude shirt every single day, every day. Unless I've got to go to a wedding or something, but other than that, every day. And so I found your amazing clothing line, which I'll share the website. I'll share it many, many times throughout the broadcast, but it is letssoul.com, and great story behind it. And she's offering a coupon code for us watching live tonight for 20% off. Use the code LOVE23. So anyway, I saw your company. I was getting ready. This was back in September, and I was getting ready to host my Women of Gratitude World Gratitude Day event, and I thought, oh, maybe she'd want to, like offer a coupon code or something. But then we met, and there's so
Right.
much more to you than just selling gratitude T-shirts, and we hit it off instantly, and I knew that I wanted to have you as a guest on the show. Then I got pneumonia, and then we had to reschedule. Um, so tell us a bit about you. I mean, there's so much to your story and how you got started with your business, but why don't you share it from your words, how you got started in all this?
So the story is a little bit convoluted, but here I am. So I was born in Croatia, and I ended up coming to the United States when I was 17 to visit my relatives. And as the life will have it, the war broke out. It was an ethnic war on Balkans and infected my country. And what was initially planned to be a summer visit, I came with my summer bag, ended up being a life here in the United States. I never went back. And actually I never went back to reconnect with my family till like 5 years later.
Wow.
So that was, my first, well, yeah, obviously we have childhood, events and stuff, but, one of the major events in my life story was the separation from my family and how quickly I learned that life is extremely precious and fragile. There was a lot of loss, right? With the war, you lose a lot of dear people. So it was, that put me on the path of awareness. This is a one-way journey, and it's full of twists and turns.
Right.
And, initially you have pain that comes with it, with painful experiences and a lot of introspection. And that's where I realized, people have stepped up, with how gracious my uncle was, and my family in Buffalo, New York, and took me in and sheltered me and supported me. And, eventually my uncle sponsored my education, 2 years of nursing school, so put me on the path of becoming a nurse. It has been tremendous. And, this was, almost 30 years ago. And to
Wow.
have this life and look back and reflect that every single downtime in my life, every single um, pain point had so many blessings tucked in, and so many good things came out of it, and so many people have shown up. It really, really taught me how precious gratitude is. And it made me realize, we really, when we face the challenges and adversity, that's where gratitude really blossoms and makes us heal and propels us further. And it made me realize what happens, like, if you're intentional with gratitude, if it becomes part of your life, what does that look like? And more I studied it, more I read about it, more I looked into the research studies, it made me realize how important it is as we deal with a daily life challenges, anxiety being one of them.
Right.
If you think about it, I mean, the latest statistics and data shows, based on the Mental Health Alliance, it's approximately 40 million people deal with it. And I think the number is even bigger.
I bet. I bet it is. And I don't think, I think COVID also added a lot to people's anxiety. There was reentry anxiety once lockdowns were, I mean, there's so many moving parts to it,
Mhm.
isn't there? And I had asked a
Amazing.
question for the people that are watching from YouTube. I had asked a question prior to the broadcast, but we want to hear from you guys throughout the broadcast, because it's an important question. How has anxiety affected the way you live? And please feel free to weigh in the comments. I'll try to get as many on the screen as you can. But so you really experienced, you could really have done it two ways. You could be angry and resentful and all that, or you looked at it through like post-traumatic growth
Mhm.
and looked at it as who helped you along the way to have this life that you have now.
And it's an incredible life. I look at it, and it really helps me now strengthen this muscle of emotional resilience,
Mhm.
knowing that no matter what is coming my way, if you have that a gratitude in your life, you will be able to navigate it.
Right.
And I will honestly, and that was my own story, and how the business, how Let Soul was born is, as a nurse and nurse practitioner, I have witnessed so many of my patients go through the same experience. We meet people at the most vulnerable times, when your health and life is compromised in many situations, and how to, even in those critical moments of somebody's life, it's a privilege to be with them in that experience, and how you can tweak in that in the moments of crisis, there's always something to be grateful for. Either, it is a doctor or your nurse or a situation or whatever that may be, there's always something through that traumatic experience you're going through at the moment that you will get stronger.
That's such a great point, because I think being a patient, and then you've been a patient and the caregiver, because you've had your own
Yeah.
health issues as well. We often remember the bad things. This nurse was terrible to me, or this doctor, I had to wait 6 months to see the doctor. You tend to remember those things rather than like their kindness and generosity and things like that. So it's really a pivot and a shift in thinking, isn't it?
Tremendous, and if you practice it, people think, how do I start in this path of gratitude? It is a practice. It becomes an intention. Initially when you start, whether it's through journaling or whether it's simply listing, as you're sipping on your coffee or your tea, what you're grateful for, it is a practice. Initially it may seem a little bit awkward, and
Right.
like that, is this really working, or what it is? But then as you do it more, and as you're more facing different situations in your life, it really, you start thinking, or you're reshaping your mind to think in a way to look for what is positive, what can you learn from this? What value are you getting out of the experience?
It's true. It is an intentional practice. It doesn't just come to you after one day, and it doesn't just magically change anything. You have to regularly practice it. I want to read from your website, which is letssoul.com. Under Meet Our Founder, this cute picture of you, it says, gratitude is contagious. It starts with one action and leads to another, opening a door for a loved one, helping someone in need, or paying it forward. My name is Goranka, and I'm the founder of Let Soul. For the last 20 years, I've been working in healthcare as a nurse practitioner and a fear fighter. Seeing patients and their families at their most vulnerable times showed me how gratitude impacts human lives and their ability to cope during times of crisis. So why not practice gratitude every day? Gratitude boosts one's well-being, makes us happier, lessens depression and anxiety, increases productivity on a daily basis, and it brings us peace. And then the Zig Ziglar quote, which is wonderful: gratitude is the healthiest of all human emotions. And your mission statement, or no, this isn't your mission. We've based our entire mission around helping people express gratitude creatively. It truly can change your life story, and we've seen it happen firsthand. Your mission statement is gratitude is our, I'm going to put it up on the screen here. Gratitude is our mission. I made something here. Gratitude is our mission to bring, inspire it, share it with the world around us, one person, one life at a time. So we're both wearing some of your designs here. Hashtag gratitude 365. The one you're wearing is your special Valentine's edition, right? Limited edition.
Yep.
I shared this during the broadcast last week. You also were kind enough to send me this cute shirt: messy hair, don't care, still grateful. Gratitude 365. You've got grateful for my family. You've also got hustling and grateful, I think, is another design of yours, right? They're super cute shirts. And again, you can find the store at letssoul.com. And for 20% off, just use the coupon code LOVE23, which is very generous of you. Thank you for offering that to us. So let's get to some of the comments, see where we're at here, because I get far behind, and then I miss it. Hi, Heidi. Thanks for being here. Courtney's here from Northern California. I struggle with anxiety. Courtney says, I tend to overthink things, talk too much, and I have trouble pacing myself. Anxiety interferes maybe with my self-esteem the most. Good point. Nadine's here from Southern California. Hi, everybody. So glad you're all here. Lorraine Miller from Texas. Robin's here. Hi. Um, Facebook user, hello. Melanie's here. Hello. I'm very excited about tonight's guest, Suzanne.
You.
That's how far behind I am. Oh, good for you, Lauren. I assume that's for refilling my cup. Thank you, Lorraine. It's much needed. Florida's grand this time of year. You're going to love it. Please refill your bucket. We need you and your support. You guys are going to make me cry. You will. Amber's here again. Amber, I don't know if you watched last week at all. Amber, I replayed your video in my group last week after you were on. I wish I knew you were going to be here. I would play it again. She's got this great song. You can find it on YouTube. It's called My New Gratitude Glasses. She wrote this song. It's the most adorable video. I will post it in the show links. Amber, we have to reschedule. She was another casualty from when I had pneumonia, was supposed to be on the show. Thanks for being here, Amber. But yeah, definitely look her up, gang, on YouTube, My New Gratitude Glasses. Rita's here. Hi, Rita. Rosanna. She is also a nurse practitioner. She is. You know, Rosanna. COVID definitely increased anxiety.
Yeah.
I agree. Anxiety truly was a negative energy. Magdalene is here. Magdalene is my friend. She was here today. She's from Poland, and she had just visited Croatia over the summer. And I said, my guest is from Croatia. Hey, Magdalena, glad you're here. I ate like 1,000 of the candies you brought me, by the way. Goranka, what has been the biggest aha moment in your life? Good question.
That's a great question. So far, I will probably tell you, I think when you sit down and you realize how much time we spend in worry. We have an average, I think the statistics say anywhere from 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them, and I believe this was actually quoted, I think, by Cleveland Clinic as well, most of those thoughts end up being negative, somewhere in the range of 85%. And not only that, they're repetitive. So I think when you come to the aha, when I realized, oh my God, like our quality of our life is been wrapped up in these thoughts. And how can we disrupt that thought process and enhance the quality of our life and be happier? And also realizing, when we are anxious and we're literally not living in the moment. So aha comes from the fact, we're spending a huge chunk of our life fast forward and not present. So really coming back to the center, to this moment, and focusing on micro, tiny things that we're grateful for in their life, it really makes a difference.
I like that micro thoughts, and you're right. I had heard that same statistic, and it's difficult too, and it's so challenging to not worry, because I mean, and this isn't exclusive to people with chronic pain and illness, but we have to think ahead a little bit, because we have to plan. Like I'm going to Florida next week, so I've got to plan. But I also could let my brain go to worry, like, well, what if this happens, and what if that happens, and and that will ruin my trip if I think like that. So I have to try to not project things that might happen, but also plan accordingly in order to take care of myself. So there's that balance, isn't there? But there's a great quote that I'm going to get the quote wrong, but it's something about worry steals today's peace.
Yes.
Takes away from tomorrow. Something along. Do you know the quote? It's something along those lines.
I've heard it before. Yeah. The definition I use for worry is really praying for something negative to happen.
Right.
When you find yourself in that constant, you're worrying about stuff. It's really a prayer for something that you don't want to happen at the end, because your mind becomes so focused on it. So how do you disrupt it? Right. That's the question. How do you, unplug yourself and get yourself in better state? And realizing, it's unique. I mean, a lot of people worry. And when does it exceed the threshold of what is too much?
Right.
I specifically find actually population that moms worry the most. I find when you are, whether it's a mother or whether in a parenting role or caregiving role, that's where you find that there's a lot of life consumed in worry and disrupting it, and how do you go about it, right? So even in a small everyday life, when you come to that place where you're overwhelmed and just heightened, it's always important to pause for a second, push the pause button, take the deep breath. It's hard to find yourself in place in gratitude immediately, right? So the
Right.
journey to gratitude may be just pausing, taking a deep breath, and then either you have a gratitude mantra, or simply start noticing what is working at the moment.
Let's talk about that. You and I talked about this yesterday, and I thought it was great. You've got sort of a three-step approach to how you deal with anxiety, and the mantra I thought was brilliant, and I'd really like to encourage our members to, or our viewers rather, to take part in it. But why don't you share what you do? I know you've sort of already touched on some of it.
Yeah. So, and again, it happens, and sometimes it's just a thought. But if I find myself consumed with the thoughts of fear, right? If I'm
Mhm.
experiencing fear and I'm completely fine, I'm just typing at my desk, and my thoughts are, it's usually something related to my children, right?
Right.
So if I'm in that state of mind, I basically will just pause for a moment, like literally catch the thought. And then I call it a gratitude breath, where I take a couple, one, two, sometimes I need more than couple breaths, but it's really to inhale and then 3, 2, 1, and then exhale slowly, 3, 2, 1. And I'll demonstrate it right now.
Yeah.
Inhale, 3, 2, 1, exhale, 3, 2, 1. It's a cleansing breath, and I do it a few times. That centers me, and then I followed it with a mantra. So whatever the worry is, I diffuse it by, if I'm going to center it around my children, because that's probably the most common theme that is happening in my life. If I'm worried about something, I will say my children are safe, healthy, happy, and prosperous. And I will repeat that a few times, and then I will also, find something at the moment to be grateful for. I'm grateful for my breath. I'm grateful for all the good that's happening right now. And, often I now invite all the good that's coming our way, my way, for, any of my connections. We often forget to express gratitude for what is coming.
Right. I love that. And I want to encourage, like, us, all of us that are watching this episode, write your own mantra,
Mhm.
whatever it is, some kind of positive affirmation. I am resilient. I have gotten through every hard day that I've ever gotten through up until this point. Something that you can look at and you repeat to yourself after the cleansing breath. I just did it with you. I felt immediately better. One breath, one deep
Mhm.
inhalation and exhalation really released so much tension. I mean, I wasn't all that tense because I like talking to you, but it just feels so great. And this is why I post in the group every day these breath breaks. They're 5 minute, 5 to 10 minute meditations, but all it takes is one, two cleansing breaths, and it's fantastic. But again, consider writing a mantra. I think we should all do this. It would be such a beneficial tool for us to be able to repeat, to reaffirm our strength, and that we are okay, we will be okay, and that thoughts are not facts, right? They're just
They're not.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Right, right. I love
We
that.
have the power to choose them. I think that's the thing about the thoughts. We actually are strong and resilient, and we can choose different thoughts. And that's where gratitude helps you, really recenter, refocus, pause, reset, whatever that is, and be able to choose different thoughts, and the value and the quality of life that you create from that mindset, from positive, from abundance, is a completely different life than when you're stuck in fear and scarcity.
True, very true. I was stuck in my own misery for a long time, and I found it difficult to get out the deeper I got into it. And I drowned it with alcohol, which I wouldn't recommend, but um it was so difficult to get out of it. But you know maintaining a gratitude practice, while not always easy, it's simple but not easy, right? The fact it is simple, but on particular days it is not easy, but it does get easier with practice, right?
Absolutely. It's initially when you're starting, just may not make sense, and it may seem awkward. People may not relate to it. However, as you are practicing it, or just basically saying, each time I grab my coffee, or each time I'm brushing my teeth, something as simple like that, I'm going to think of 3 things that I'm grateful for. And it really becomes to consistency or frequency of how often can you do that, and just sprinkling your mindset with, you're really feeding your mindset with some powerful stuff.
Right. We're nourishing with gratitude. I love that. Facebook user says anxiety for a long time period can lead to feeling broken. For me, my anxiety causes depression, stress eating, and not eating at all. That
Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
paralyzing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's paralyzing, and it really limits you in your ability to create your life, from an abundance mindset. Because if you are, when you think about it, you're anxious. Anxiety is really fear, right?
Right.
Intense fear, and for every person could be different type of fear, right? Fear of not being loved, fear of abandonment, fear of not being enough, or fear for something negative to come to your life or happen. There are all these fears, and it really, it's a process, and it's definitely, with gratitude is your tool to help you get to the other side.
And this is why when I first met you, I'm like, I have to have her on the show because it's like talking to myself. Gratitude is a tool. It absolutely is. Suzanne says, I love that mission. Me too.
Thank
Magdalena,
you
I
so
want those t-shirts. Where can we order them? I did not even tell her to say that at all.
much.
Let me share again. So you can go on letssoul.com, and if you use the coupon code LOVE23, Goranka is giving us 20% off. Let's go back to your website and see. I think we showed all the designs, but I want to make sure we get them all. Let's see. Bestsellers. Here's the Hustling and Grateful. Super cute. And I also love that you have a lot of sizes. It's not just small, medium, large. You have that from extra small up to 5XL. I like that a lot because that's hard to find, I think. Let's see what else you got. Shop by collection. You don't only have t-shirts too. Messy hair, don't care. That's the one I showed. And you've got long sleeve
Yeah.
sweatshirts.
Sweatshirts, and then we have actually some home items as well. One of them is a pillow. I think that is I have it actually here. You can see it, yep. And that is something that anchors me every single day.
Ooh. It says the most powerful story is yours. Own it, write it, love it, live it. I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
Often I'll ask people in my life, who owns your story? Do you own your story, or does your story own you? This is a reminder.
Yes. Such a good point. I love that. You can also she also has a great Instagram page, by the way. Let's Soul Life at Let's Soul Life if you're on Instagram. So let's talk. So we heard a little bit about your story. So how did you go from these feelings to saying, "Hey, I want to start, an apparel business with gratitude"?
So there's a lifetime of experiences, and you're sorting and growing as a person, as a mother, as a professional. And then, being at bedside, I always say being a nurse, it's a privilege. And it's a privilege to be with people at their most vulnerable time.
Mhm.
And through, witnessing many bedside experiences and I worked in a neurointensive care, ICU, nurse with the neurosurgery service as well. So you see a lot, right? And it was one day I was on the unit, and I shared with 2 colleague nurses, Kim and Tanya, and we were in conversation. Just that I really want to have something that really focuses on connection and gratitude. And I know that is one of you. Those are the
Yeah, gratitude and connection. Yeah.
gratitude connection. And it started initially a while back as a blog, and I was still not quite sure where to take it. And it really became important to me to share the message of gratitude. When you journal, you're growing your own awareness muscle. And, I express express gratitude through journaling, every single day or as often as I journal. And having apparel for me it felt good to have something that's, when I see in the mirror, I see myself, and I'm grateful for
Yep.
all the good stuff in my life and being able to share that in the community. So whether I'm traveling or if I'm shopping at Costco and I'm walking out and somebody says, "Oh, I love your shirt," I'm like,
Yeah.
great,
That's
just
why I
spreading that
started
awareness.
wearing them years ago. For me, it's just another tool for me to be, look and say, "Okay, I've got a lot to be grateful for." It says so on my shirt. Conversation, connecting with others, and I always say if I look sparkly on the outside, it makes me feel sparkly on the inside. So I put,
Absolutely.
like, this I've got fairy hair in my hair, I wear gratitude T-shirts. It helps, and that goes along with your mission statement, right? To share it and bring it, inspire it, and share it with the world around us. Um so anyway, so you wanted to connect, and so you said, "I'm going to create T-shirts."
I'm gonna start with t-shirts. I am going to, I was thinking which item people wear the most, right? What is the most, something that's visible and something that people can, wear, whether dress it up, dress it down. It's a casual, it's a beach day, it's an office day. I'll have a jacket if I'm doing, business meetings right now. I wear it under my scrubs when I'm in the hospital. So I decided to go with t-shirts, and obviously we have sweatshirts and we have muscle tanks and
Mhm.
different other things, but t-shirt is our best seller. And that's how we started. So I launched the t-shirt line right before COVID, and COVID obviously took us all by surprise, and it was full of twists and turns on its
Right.
own and impacted everyone. And now it has been a few years, and we're still heading into 2023 strong.
And I have to say, gang, I'm an expert on gratitude and chronic pain and connection. I'm also an expert on T-shirts. These are Bella Canva shirts, which are my favorite. They are soft. They're very, very soft. I'm not just saying that. These are, when I saw you were kind enough to send me a couple when you were supposed to be on the show a few months ago. When I saw there were Bella Canva shirts, I was like, "Oh, they're my favorite. They're great. They wash really well. They don't shrink. True to size. I really like them."
Yeah.
So,
Thank you. And truly, you can dress them up and dress them down. That's the
yeah,
best part of it. Like I said,
yeah,
I can wear them under scrubs, or I can put them, in a dressy casual outfit or professional outfit, whatever it
yeah,
is,
they're
works.
great, and they're very unique designs too.
Mhm.
Like messy hair, don't care, still grateful, so cute, hustling and grateful. It's fantastic. Um, Let me see, where am I at? Sandy says, I spend a lot of time at home. I tend to avoid social gatherings. I am often quiet when I do attend. Any
Mm.
suggestions for people like Sandy who, have social
Anxiety.
anxiety? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Everything in life, first of all, Sandy, I'm going to say the fact that you're sharing this and being vulnerable, that's amazing. And that's step one to courage, right? Being able, reveal to heal, I say. We
yeah,
always feel like we're isolated, and it's hard, social anxiety is a real thing. I say start small, small steps actually, amount to big things. So whether it's, go, gathering, meeting only one person for coffee or going to small gatherings is the first step. The other big thing that plays with social anxiety is, self-esteem, right?
right.
Self-worth, self-esteem. And one of the mantras that I would probably say, I would repeat, would be, I'm enough and I'm good enough. I'm more than good enough.
I love that.
And start small, Sandy. And then build that muscle. More we do something, it's awkward, it's uncomfortable. It's like trying to ride a bike, right? But it's an emotional bike. You
Right.
fall off, you pick up, you get yourself back up. And really, the one thing that I've learned, and I'm learning, I think I'm the student of life, so I'm learning every single day. But personally, what worked for me is our brain tends, it's drawn, it's natural, it's in this mode to create these negative thoughts. And
Mhm.
if you can acknowledge that, if you can really say to yourself, you know what, that is not, the case. That is not the truth. And really reframe and focus on positive, on really making that first step, on self-care, self-love, self-nurturing is really going to make, each day you do it or how often you can do it, it's going to make a difference.
Great suggestions, and I agree. I mean, that's a big step to share it, to be here, to share a comment with everybody. And there is power in our stories, like your pillows is. There's power in our stories. Years ago, 10 years ago, I've almost been sober 10 years. So there's my sobriety, and then my second chance at reworking this chronic pain thing happened at the same time. Oh, where was I going with this? Brain fog. Where was I going with it? Oh, I know. So I went to this chronic pain rehab, which I've shared many times. I went there to get sober, but it was also, I was part of this pain program. So from my close inner circle, I told them the entire story. But others, I'm like, no, I went away to a chronic pain program, 30 days. I didn't tell them the entire truth. And I don't remember exactly when it was. I think it may have been a couple years in where I shared about the sobriety part. And I realized it was so freeing to share my story because it was holding me hostage. It was holding me hostage. And there's nothing to be embarrassed about. It just is. And if my story of, being a recovering alcoholic can help somebody, that's fantastic. But having it hold me hostage of being embarrassed about that, just, I don't know, it just helped me reach a whole other level of sobriety. I felt by sharing my story, especially women, our power is in our stories. It connects us. And, somebody tonight, Goranka, could hear something that you said and they can really relate to what you're saying, and it could change everything. So didn't mean to go off on that tangent, but Sandy, thank you for sharing that because
Thank you,
you could
Sandy.
have
No, I feel that's so important, Lauren. Like that probably is the highlight. I just find it's inevitable that our life is up and down.
Right.
I said twists and turns, and pain is part of it. And our growth is part of it, right? We're perfectly imperfect by design. So really, I'm so grateful for people that have shown up and have been vulnerable and felt comfortable being vulnerable in my space because I learned so much from them. Being vulnerable, acknowledging your imperfections. And it's just our pain is our gift, ultimately. If we're able to work through it, if we're able to see that this is temporary and that we can learn, it's given to us in a way to learn the courage, learn about the strength and perseverance and move forward. And that's where gratitude is born. It's really in these moments of pain.
You are so right. I'm getting choked up because that you are so right on the money with that. That is where my gratitude stems from my darkest moment. That's where the baseline for my gratitude. Oh, I'm sorry. I already got that one. Let me see here. Hello from Gabby. Hi, Gabby. Oh, Gabby. Yeah, Gabby was on my show. You have a new last name. That's why I didn't recognize you. She's a music therapist. She did a music episode for us maybe a year and a half ago. Hi, Gabby. Welcome. Facebook user says, my anxiety has gotten worse lately. I'm really struggling with this, and I'm looking forward to learning how to deal with this. I know I'm a bit behind in the comments, but Facebook user, I hope whatever you've heard so far is helping. And if you have any other questions you'd like to ask,
I actually want to share
please.
another tool that has helped me.
Great.
It's journaling. So journaling is something that when I have a lot going on or I'm going through something uncomfortable and painful, it is the moment of self-awareness for me. It allows me self-awareness and also for self-reflection. And because life happens to all of us. So we're not every day, 365 days, happy, smiling, grateful, no, I mean, you literally are constantly navigating, and anger will still show up, frustration will show up, pain will show up, things that we need to heal come up, anxiety shows up. But the way I journal, and I think that has been helpful for me, I can't sometimes immediately start, I'm grateful, for, and list all the things I'm grateful. It just doesn't feel like right there. So I have to, my first step is actually to identify my feelings. What am I feeling at the moment? I'm feeling frustrated, overwhelmed, exhausted, tired, happy, sad, whatever the spectrum of the emotions I am at a particular moment when I'm journaling. And then I go back to, for a moment, what thoughts am I having that are causing these feelings? So then I write them out. And a lot of times, what I will find is a thought pattern, something that I'm struggling with, which would be scarcity of time. I don't have enough time. I'm over, or it could be a belief, limiting belief that's holding me in prison that I just have not been able to break through about something, whatever that is. And once when I'm able to write all that out, which may take 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 3 minutes, depending on the morning, then I just list what I'm grateful for. I usually say I'm grateful for these challenges because they're teaching me. I believe that, I'm grateful and I'm going to be patient to learn what I need to learn at this moment.
Great tip. I often find that when I'm writing things down, when I'm getting my thoughts on paper, whether it's journaling or even if it's like a a to-do list, right? That, you
Mhm.
know, a to-do list that in my mind feels so long, and I put it down on paper and I realize it's really only 5 things long. I'm just repeating the same 5 things in my head over and over, right? But seeing it on paper does that for me, and so but sharing my feelings on paper really helps me look at it and say, "Okay, well, yeah, it could be," as they say in AA, hungry, angry, lonely, tired,
Mhm.
halt, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. A lot of things are based on that, but yeah, the limiting beliefs and things that you might be able to shift your thinking on. That's a great suggestion, I love that. The journaling, we love journaling in AOG for sure. We're getting such great comments here. Let's see. Um, Lorraine says anxiety has a physical symptom component, shaking, etc. Yeah.
Absolutely. So anxiety is really when your vagal nerve, there is a nerve in our body that literally puts us in that fight or flight, which could be shaking, the voice quivers, your hands can get sweaty, your heart is beating fast. So there's a lot of physical symptoms that come with it. And it's hard to change your thoughts when you physically
Yeah.
experiencing. So you need to combat physical with physical in a way. So either it could be a workout or some activity that you can do, or I will always go back to that I call it cleansing gratitude breath because it really is able to calm down the stimulation, calms you down so you're not as heightened, as, stressed out, it really can center you. And it doesn't, sometimes one breath, two breaths, sometimes it may be, 3, 4 minutes, but it's so important because it really brings the peace and calm, and then you can change your thoughts after that.
And we forget to breathe, don't we? Which sounds silly. I mean, of course we're breathing, but we forget to take true breaths, and they make all the difference. I am absolutely convinced of that. I'm a big proponent of cleansing breaths and intentional breathing. Suzanne says it seems like a never-ending battle where anxiety fights gratitude until you can just give up. Interesting perspective.
It
Yeah,
does, and yeah, it does, and it's interesting because you just don't know what each day will bring, right? The days you're more tired, your anxiety, maybe worse. Certain days of the month, hormonal influences, there's a lot, that can influence it. And being proactive, I think self-care has been neglected as part of our ritual, right? We're always there taking care of everyone else and being
right.
there for everyone else. And, whether it's, home, work, we really don't prioritize and make self-care on to-do list. So I think that wisdom with the age comes is really scheduling the time, putting a boundary on self-care so you can be prepared to handle the challenges coming your way.
Right, in attitude of gratitude with chronic pain. I think I was telling you we've made 2023 the year of self-care.
Mhm.
Last year was the year of intention, the year before that was the year of gratitude, this is the year of self-care. Um, and so I mean, it's honestly in our group every year is the year of self-care, but we're making that, we're really trying to focus because you're right. And I think as women too, we are the caregivers. We take
Mhm.
care of everybody else before ourselves. And that can manifest in a lot of not great things. It can make our illnesses flare up
Worse.
worse, physical and emotional. Oh, I heard the best term when describing anxiety recently. It was anxiety is emotional inflammation.
Mhm.
I thought that was fantastic. It was like, aha moment. It is, it's emotional inflammation because, with a lot of illnesses, and I'm obviously not a doctor, but so many illnesses are inflammation based, right?
Yeah, inflammation is like a common denominator for so
Right.
many things.
Right.
And they actually do say now anxiety and depression they're labeling, there are many studies coming out, they're labeling them as inflammatory processes. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. And it's really, how do we reduce the inflammation and
Right.
how do we go about it, and that's where the self-care becomes really setting yourself as a priority and guarding it. I think we sometimes intend to do things and we want to do, massage or yoga, and then our boundaries are still weak around it. We don't guard it. We
Yeah,
don't guard the self-care time. And it's extremely, extremely important because it just sets you up to be that much more show up healthier and stronger for whatever life brings your way.
it does. It does. If we can't pour from an empty cup, right? And
No.
we often, excuse me, I think women especially often feel guilty. We feel like it's selfish, but it's not selfish. It's necessary. It is necessary.
Yeah, and it truly taking that time for yourself makes you so much better to show up not only for yourself but for your loved ones.
Right.
So you're presenting them with the best version of yourself,
Yeah.
So it is win-win if we could change our mindset, and really make it a priority.
Right. And there are, as far as our physical conditions, there are obviously things we can do to ease our conditions. But if it's a chronic condition, there's very little we can control about it. Right.
Mhm.
But we can control how we respond to it and how we react to it, and that is where I believe gratitude comes in, and obviously you do too. Things like gratitude, practicing gratitude, making it intentional, setting aside time to do it, um, you know, taking the breaths, mindfulness, taking a nap, taking a Netflix break if you need it, whatever you need. This is what we need, and then we can be better for those we love, instead of just getting sicker and sicker. So there are things we can control, and that's just how we respond to. And it's not just chronic pain and illness. For those of you that don't have chronic pain and illness, it's whatever situation. We can't necessarily control our circumstances, but we can control how we respond to them.
And that's the key. We can predict, what's going to come our way, but really how we respond and engage with whatever that experience is, it truly is the key.
Right. Nadine says, worry is like sitting on a rocking chair. You move, but don't get anywhere. Good one. That's great. That's a great analogy. So true. Robin says, I've started doing mirror work every morning with a few mantras. Great, Robin. Good
That's
idea.
amazing. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Robin's always got really good tips. Um, Becky says, me too, Sandy. I assume as far as social anxiety. I'm sorry to hear that, Becky. I hope that the suggestions have been helping you. Hi, it's Jen McGregor from AOG. Hey, Jen. Grateful to be here and watch. I'm so glad you're here too. Linda Canalicchio, I love the mantra I learned from you, Lauren. I love my life more than I hate my pain. Thank you, Linda. That
I
means a
have
lot
a good
coming
one.
from you because I know you do a lot of this stuff too. Yeah, that is kind of our mission behind Attitude of Gratitude with chronic pain is we aim to thrive rather than survive, but also we aim to love our life more than we hate our pain.
It's giving yourself permission to be emotionally free. When you have an illness or condition, you feel, I believe initially it's like an imprisonment, right? And being able to get yourself on the path that, yes, I have that. It's not me. It's something I'm experiencing, but it's really not me. And still, commit to having a fulfilling and emotionally flourish. It's a huge thing.
Right. And so what kind of response have you gotten for people that are buying your shirts? Obviously they've got to put a smile on people's face. And when you put a smile on somebody else's face, it puts a smile on your face, right?
It sure does, and the thing about gratitude, this is what I feel like it's, it doesn't only make you feel good, it really inspires you and someone else to do good. So those are two things, like you feel good and then there's inspiration. When you feel grateful, you're likelier to show up as a better human in our community, in our society, in this world. And we do need this. So people love it. People love the idea, the concept. There have been times where, I'm working and parenting and all these things are going on, and I have this vision and I'm committed to making it success, and you feel down. There are down times when you're like, okay, how do I, will this ever happen? What does it look like and stuff? And people would just tell me, and I'm so grateful. I literally remember people just coming out of nowhere, whether I'm in the store or visiting with a friend. They're like, persist, do what you need to do. It's a powerful mission. Stay focused. And I let go of the attachment or the expectations. I'm really, really here to connect people, to share what gratitude can do. And the thing about gratitude is, like, it literally has no side effects, right? It's such a great thing. Like, it only makes you emotionally flourish and make you a better human. So I feel extremely committed to this.
It connects us together. Life is hard. Life is so challenging. I don't know anybody that doesn't have a challenging life in some respect. And you know what? If a t-shirt is worth 1,000 words, and it's wearing your heart on your outside and spreading, like you said in your mission, gratitude is contagious. It is. Gratitude is, as is a smile, right? A smile, a word of gratitude, a word of thanks. It's contagious.
And it's actually a gateway to other emotions, right? It's hard to love, before you reach love, if you feel truly grateful and appreciative, that's how you reach the point of love. It's foundation for resilience, for happiness. It's directly connected. If you look at the studies that have been done, there have been multiple studies done. So this is also not just, something that it's not like a hot item to talk about, gratitude is cool or whatever. It's really, there's scientific evidence on how it impacts human brain, leads to neuroplasticity, where your brain, when you start thinking in a positive way, changes. And there's functional MRIs that have been done, that really look into people who practice gratitude and what does it do to their brain. So it's really, I feel like practicing gratitude is the gateway to so many amazing things that come into your life.
It's true. It's true. And I say this pretty much every week. It's not like I need the studies to prove something, because the group has shown us this for the last 8 years. But gosh, they are really, it's really validating to see these. Like, I posted one last week. It's a newer one out of Ireland that talked about helping heart patients.
Yes.
And I knew it lowered blood pressure, but this was a newer study about helping heart patients. Oh my goodness, what a blast from the past. Christina Summit. Oh my gosh, I think it's been like 10, 15 years. She was my bartender. Hey, Christina. A lot's changed. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for watching. Oh, you're a sweetheart. She was a friend also, not just my bartender, but that's kind of funny. I've been sober 10 years, by the way, Christine, in case you missed it. That's you just made my day, Christina. The mission is wonderful. I agree. Thanks for being here, Jan. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you came, Magdalena. The material is very soft and comfortable. I absolutely agree. So soft. And they wash up great. These are really, really nice shirts. She wants gratitude to start early in a child's life, hence the small size S. This, I have one. You gave me one small and one extra small. This is the extra small, which I love. Fits me perfectly. But I wear different size shirts depending on what I do. But yeah, they're super soft. Courtney says, "Thank you. That's great advice." In the end run, it just doesn't matter. Shoot, this is when getting behind. I'm not really sure what you're referring to, but well, I mean, our worries, if that's what you're referring to, you're right. I shared in a reading I did for Black Duck Moments group today that, I could worry so much about what if I do this and my pain's bad tomorrow. You know, I could miss out on a really great moment if I just try to protect myself from something that might happen, and I will eventually forget the pain, but I won't forget that moment. So you're right, in the end, it doesn't matter. Surround yourself with positive people. Sure, Rosanna. Rosanna, you need to join my group.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're right. You're right. It's surrounding yourself because it's contagious. And even if you're feeling down and you don't want to share your own gratitude, hearing everybody else's and knowing that they struggle too is really inspiring and motivating. Courtney says, I'm going to tell myself at least 3 times a day that I am worthy. I am perfectly imperfect, and that's perfect. I love that. That's a great mantra.
That's amazing, Courtney.
Brenda, I've already learned a lot. I'm so glad. Oh gosh, we're almost at the hour. You guys are really giving some great questions. And Goranka, this has been a fabulous episode. Stage of life has a large part to do with anxiety levels. Yeah, for sure. I don't know if you feel like following that up with your experience, but I agree.
Yeah.
It does. Self-care without guilt, for sure. For sure. We years ago in the group, we set daily intentions every morning, and everything we do in the group is optional, but we set daily intentions. We find that more helpful than setting goals because often goals are, they're very cut and dry intentions or things we intend to do, but if our conditions don't allow for that to happen in a couple hours, it gives us the grace to, not worry about that. But people used to feel guilty about saying they were taking a rest day. So we had a contest to rename rest days, and now we call them reboot days. Reboot days 1.
Yeah.
And we celebrate that now. Reboot days are great.
And
Facebook.
there's actually saying about rest being a new productivity, like a new version of productivity. I think we're always on. So rest is really reset, and it gives you all that energy, and it's a great thing.
We need that. And my daughter is 27, and I think their generation is starting to notice the value of self-care. I think they're the first generation that really recognizes how important it is, because up until now it's just been, you go, 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 and then, we get sick or things happen. Facebook user says, I've been drinking from an empty cup for years. Now the cup has crumbled. Can't do it anymore. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's always a good time to love yourself.
For sure. For sure. I hope you're a member of my group. If you're not, consider joining, because you're not alone. You're not alone. We don't substitute for, mental health practitioners, but we can help you feel and know that you're loved and you're worthy and you belong, and you're not alone, for sure. Suzanne says, what great ideas. Thank you, Christina. I'm so grateful to see you too. I'm so, so grateful to see you. I hope you're doing well. This is wonderful. Can you please bring Goranka back in the future? Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I wonder if it's too early to play you as a best of episode next week. This has been a fantastic episode. I could talk to you for hours, but let me just share again. The website is letsoul.com. Let me just share this. Letsoul.com, letsoul.com. And make sure she's offering us a very special coupon code, LOVE23. That gives you 20% off. Wear gratitude. One of my hashtags, and I say it at the end of every episode, is get your gratitude on. And this is a great way to get your gratitude on and help you feel, shiny on the outside, and you could bless the lives of others by wearing, the messy hair, don't care, just way too cute. Still grateful. Love that. Love that.
Perfectly imperfect, no matter what.
Perfectly imperfect. It's so funny you say that, because I just posted a quote of mine that said perfectly imperfect about gratitude today too. We're very in sync. Thank you so, so much for being here. This has been a fantastic episode. Gang, I hope you got so much out of it. And if you would like to reach her, I've already given you the website. Please check out her Instagram at Let's Soul Life. LETSOULLIFE. if you go to letsoul.com, she has a Facebook page as well. So you can check her out there. But Goranka Vucenovic, thank you so much. I honor you for the work you're doing, as well as spreading love and gratitude throughout the world, through your shirts and your message. It's really been a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Lauren. It has been honor and privilege, and look forward to staying connected. Big hug, everybody.
Yes, big hug, everybody. I will see you in March with this broadcast. I might have a blog out before then, but yeah, make sure you all take care of yourselves. You're not alone. You are valuable. You are loved, and you are worthy of all good things. So peace and love, and get your gratitude on. I'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.